Hello, everybody. Welcome. Tom Forfer here from the Doctors Collective. Welcome, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube, and welcome, Instagram. Now, I've been doing these lives for just over a week now, and one of my good friends from the US, Dr. Fernando Lemonier, who's a cardiothoracic surgeon, and also is involved in business and all sorts of cool things. He was watching one of my lives and said, Tom, you should do a bit of an amble at the start just to give people the opportunity to join the live and have a bit of time at the start just to kind of get the ball rolling with things. So I'm going to do that today because the thing is, the idea, one of the reasons why I'm doing this is because, and the way that I'm doing it as well, you see, it's not like the most, amazing of setups. I've got a mic and a computer. I'm doing the computer here. I've got the phone here, and I've got a bit of a setup to get it up to my head. So it's all about getting started and not trying to get it perfect at the start, but just get it started and then get it going. Get it going and kind of improve and perfect it as we go. So that's what I'm doing here. I kind of jumped in to do these lives. I'm doing them every day in January, and then some awesome stuff coming in February too. And so I just jumped in. That's one of the things that we tell our private clients as well is don't try and get it perfect. Just get it going. Get it going, and then we can refine and adjust it as we go. And that's what I've done here. Now, on Instagram, it's nothing special. It's just going live. But on Facebook and YouTube here, I've got this nice kind of a title underneath. They got the logo on the top, and it's looking pretty good. So I kind of added that over time as we've been kind of going through these lives, because improvements as we go, not trying to get it perfect, but kind of growing it and improving it as we go. So I think that was enough of an amble, giving people a bit of time to join. Now, what we're talking about today is that we're going to talk about the dirty word called marketing. And often when I hear doctors talk about marketing, they're like, that marketing guy, or there's like this sleazy, dirty vibe to it, which is sad because every doctor does marketing, or it's done for them. Because marketing is, if you get rid of all the connotations and all the kind of things that we feel come with it, essentially what marketing is telling people that you exist and that you can help them. That's what marketing is. It's not some crazy way to trick people into buying stuff from you. The marketing is all about taking people from never hearing from you before to going, I want to hear more from you, right? And then sales is taking them from I want to hear more to here's my credit card. And again, sales isn't dirty either. Depends on what you do with it and how you approach it. That's what makes the difference. In fact, I can do a whole thing on sales and how amazing it is, and that it's really a combination of love and self-respect. So sales is about loving your clients and the people you're helping, but also having enough self-respect to charge for your time and what you offer. But that's a topic for another day. But marketing is all about taking people from never having heard of you to wanting to find out more about what you do and seeing if you can help them, how you can help them. Which isn't dirty at all. And in fact, as doctors, it's kind of done when you're working clinically. It's kind of done for you by the hospital and by the medical system at large. They maintain a certain level of credibility and respect for the medical profession by keeping strict rules on doctors and their behavior and hospitals, and making sure that things are tested, and so the credibility and the trustworthiness is there, and the confidentiality as well. That's part of the trust factor, and all the research to make sure that people believe and know that what we're offering actually helps. So a lot of it's done for us. But then when we go into business, you got to do it yourself. You got to do the marketing and let people know that you exist, because without that, well, there's nothing really. If people don't know who you are and they're not buying from you, you've got a really expensive hobby. So there are some people who are like, oh, I don't want to. I hear this at times where people are like, oh, I got to where I am without any marketing. Oh, I'm trying to do this without doing any marketing, and it's I get it. it's a kind of a badge of honor that, hey, people are here because of I'm good at what I do, not because I spruik what I do. But if you look at the largest, most successful companies, like let's look at the biggest and most successful company in the world right now, Apple. All right. We've got, how did Apple start? There were two fellas, Steve Wozniak and Steve Jobs. Without both of them, nothing would happen. They wouldn't be where they are today. Steve Wozniak is known as the kind of the brains behind the operation. He kind of created the stuff. But Steve Jobs was the marketing genius, the one that created the structures and the way that business runs, and the marketing and the messages and the articulation of the message and what they offer. Without that, they wouldn't be where they are. So, maybe, if Steve Wozniak, if you read the story, if you get to know it, it really they wouldn't have gone anywhere if Wozniak was in charge. I think it's Steve Wozniak. Two Steves. Steve Jobs, Steve Wozniak. Yeah. Anyway, the other thing is when people are like, oh, this person X, Y, and Z built this company without any marketing, it's a red flag for me, because what that tells me is that they sat in a corner and they told nobody about what they did, which isn't true, because if people are buying what they do, what happened is that possibly they had strategic relationships which allowed them to get the word out, or they had particular channels to spread their product, which is a form of marketing. Okay, you maybe they didn't pay for the traditional ads, but they paid in terms of the time to set up those relationships and those partnerships. So one way or another, you pay for marketing, whether it's through ads or whether it's through the time you put in, through organic type stuff. People on Instagram are like, oh, I built 10,000 followers without any marketing. Well, they spend at least over an hour trying to get every image right. That's just the editing, let alone taking like 40 or 50 or more, 100 photos to get the right photo, and then getting the right message on that. So that they're putting in time, and they're building relationships, and they're strategic partnerships, hashtagging, all this kind of stuff. So they're putting in the time one way or another. It's just that they feel like it's a badge of honor to not have paid for any ads. But the truth is, ads, the way I see ads is that if you've got, the analogy I like to use for it is, if you've got a little fire burning, you've spent all this time to get a fire burning, you've got a good quality product or service, and you've got a bit of a fire burning, but you want to get a bonfire going on. And you might go there and you might add a few logs, but those logs are got a bit of water in them and they're not getting anywhere. And you're like, oh, I want to get this thing going. You're blowing on it. You're trying to get it going. It's not getting anywhere. Ads and marketing, effective, high quality, respectable marketing, is like throwing some fire starters onto that baby. All right. You've got something good going. You've got the fuel to support it. And then you get the fire going. That's what marketing does. And if it's done effectively, it's done in a really respectable and high quality way. So let's talk about that, because that's kind of where the dirty people get the whole, I want to do some marketing, get the word out, because, one way or another, you're doing marketing, whether it's through ads or spending time, fingers crossed, the relationship and the strategic partnership works out, or you have a more systematic, effective way to run ads. As you can see, I like to run ads, because I think that they're fantastic, and there's so many platforms to do it cheaply and effectively these days. So when it comes to running ads, many of the private clients that we have who are doctors and entrepreneurs, kind of all doctorpreneurs, they want to make sure that they're not jeopardizing their reputation, and that they're doing it in a way that is not just talking about themselves. And you know what? The truth is, ads that just talk about you are bad ads. Ads that are just, hey, here's my product, buy my thing now, are bad ads, right? That's where the bad kind of reputation of marketing comes along, where it's just like, hey, buy my shit, this is my thing, buy it, buy it, buy it. That's bad, and we don't want to do that. And I don't do that. I don't think that's a good way of doing things. A better way, and the thing is that way I just described doesn't stand out from the thousands of messages people get every single day, but a better way, right? A way where it allows your ideal client to see that you actually care about them, that you understand them, and that you help them. that you can help them in the actual ad is doing things slightly differently, which is the way I like to do things and the way I've been taught to do it by my mentors over the years, is that we don't talk about ourselves and our stuff and our product and how much it costs and buy. Instead, what we talk about is our clients and the problem that they're having. Talk to. Let's look at it this way, right? Someone's on their phone and they're scrolling through their phone. There's all these different things popping up here and there, and they're scrolling through all the sponsored ads because they're just about buy my stuff. And then they scroll down to one and they say, "Hey, are you this person?" And you're like, "Yes." Do you have this particular problem? Are you experiencing these particular issues? Are you now? This kind of sounds like one of those American commercials for pharmaceuticals, and that's what I'm talking about here, where they have like a couple playing with their dog, running through the fields, going, "Hey, are you experiencing diarrhea or constipation?" And it's like and they pretty much list any possible symptom under the sun. Then you need to do this. That's not what we're talking about here. What we're talking about is more of speaking to your ideal client in a way that connects with them, that resonates with them. No, we're not talking about symptoms or diarrhea or anything like that. We're talking about understanding let's say, for example, going to one of the companies that we run, it helps people prepare for an exam called the GAMSAT so that they can get into postgraduate medicine in Australia. And so the ads that we run are not like, "Hey, here's my program, buy this." Instead, we say, are you someone who's done the GAMSAT before? Are you struggling to change your mark? Have you tried different methods, different techniques, but you're not able to get the score that you want, and you're starting to have doubts and worries whether you can actually achieve this, and your dreams are starting to slip away? We connect to them on that level, on that emotional level, where it resonates with them. So another example is with the Doctors Collective here. One of the programs that we run is, we call it our Foundations program. And so I run a webinar that helps people get started in business, specifically online business, so that you can travel and make a great income doing what you love, but also be remote and work in medicine as you do it. But who we target are doctors who may be already in business or are interested in online business, and helping them to get started with that, because they will have more time and money and freedom and make more of an impact. So we paint the picture of what life could be like, once they come along to the webinar. So, for example, the ad might say something like, "Hey, find out how I went from being a burnt out, overworked doctor to working 6 months of the year and traveling internationally the other 6 months of the year." And when people see that, they're like, "Well, that's kind of interesting. I'd like to do that." When the right people see it, I should say. And that's the key thing here, understanding who your target client is, who your ideal customer is, and then crafting a message that will speak to them, that will identify the problem that they're having. And if you don't know how to do that, I've shot some previous videos about how to start doing that. And because once you know what problem they're having, what they're going through, like let's say these doctors that I'm talking about, these people might be like, they might be interested in business, or they already have a business, but it's not going very well, and they've started a few things. They really want to get something going, but they don't know how to do it in a respectable way, in a way that doesn't jeopardize their reputation, and that also allows them to travel and have and work as a doctor, but also have the freedom to travel with their business as well. So just adjusting. I can kind of see that I'm kind of hiding my face there in the banner. So I'm going to sit. Hopefully you can hear me when I talk like this, but I'm going to do this so that you can see my face over the title on the screen. So the ads speak to that. So for example, it might be something: are you a doctor who's feeling burnt out and ready to take that business to the next level? And it's like, "Oh shit, that sounds good. I want to know more." And so they start to read. Okay, so you've started a number of businesses, or you've tried to start a number of businesses, but they're just not working out, and you're worried about how to actually get the word out respectably about what you're doing and also how to charge and what to put in your program and how to do it in a way that helps you to use your time effectively so that you can travel and work as a doctor without burning yourself out. If you want to know more, find it, click here. And can you see how that captures if you put yourself in the mindset of that person I just described, and if they were to see that ad, they're like, hey, this person gets me, they can help me, I want to find out more. And that's what we're talking about here. And when you're doing it that way, it's talking more about the person and about what they're going through. Now, if you're talking specifically about, let's say you have a clinic and you want to get the word out about your practice. And so what I would have always wanted to see was I haven't seen it before, but doctors running Facebook ads specifically to, for example, let's say obstetricians. All right, an obstetrician who wants to have more, women who are maybe you're after professional women who are interested in having a private obstetrician. Then you would target women who are 30 to 40 who are making this, and you can do all this on Facebook. Target women who are 30 to 40 and who and talk about the problems that they might be having. So for example, it might be, hey, are you already trying to fall pregnant? Don't know what you should be looking out for, what the signs are, and how to make sure that you have a healthy pregnancy. Click here to find out more. I mean, that would speak. I know from the experiences that my wife had, and I had when she was, I think she was in her early 30s when she was when she fell pregnant, and so an ad like that would kind of capture her attention and get her thinking about realizing that this obstetrician can actually help and wanting to find out a bit more. And then you would send them to a page where you tell them about the common questions that women of that age have and if they want to find out more, they can book in an appointment with you. And that way you're not just saying, hey, I have this much experience, I'm this person, I've done all this, which people don't want to be doing, and who see those ads don't really care about that. To be honest, people don't care about you and your titles. What they care about is themselves and how you can help them. So if your marketing can actually explain to people that you understand what they're going through, not just saying I understand because I've got 12 years experience, but connecting to the conversation that's going on in their head and then speaking to them in that way, it'll capture them and get them to want to know more. So start writing some ads like that. If you want to find out more, get in touch with us. But that is a completely different way of looking at marketing, which is not dirty. In fact, it's caring, it's compassionate, it's empathetic, and it helps people who you want to be helping. So I hope that's been useful. All the best, and I'll speak to you next time.